So 1, 3, 2, 1. What's up, fam? It's your boy Demuir here, purveyor of all sounds underground. Thank you for joining me on my YouTube channel today, where I'll be showing you what I think is an essential technique, or to have knowledge of, called the fade in, fade out technique, to deal with those little annoying ticks that you might come across in your audio from time to time. But before I jump into the details, what I need from you is that SLC. Hit subscribe, like, comment, and more importantly, hit the notifications bell to stay in touch with the new videos that we have up and coming. Okay, so let's get into this. What am I talking about? What am I specifically talking about when it comes to the fade in, fade out technique? Well, the story goes, when I was just starting to create tracks, and at the time I was using my Ensoniq ASR 10, this was something where you didn't necessarily see what was going on the screen, but you had numbers representing the sample and what you're dealing with. And depending on where the sample crosses in terms of decibel levels, if it's, not crossing at 0 between the time the sample starts versus where it ends, you'll hear these little ticks. And ticks like a record pop, for example, is a common one. And the reason why you would hear the record pop is because at that moment in the wave structure of the sample, it's definitely not crossing 0 decibels. It's probably more like peaking. In some cases, it looks very sharp, which I'll show you in a second on my screen, or it's pointing sharply, almost like a notch level sort of signal in that moment. And it's really annoying depending on what you're trying to create and what you're dealing with. Now, I know there's a lot of plug-in solutions, or some plug-in solutions, that handle the stuff. It analyzes the transients and then, it smooths it out for you. But I think it's important to know what's actually happening, and it's an old school technique that you should have in your arsenal and be prepared to use at any given point in time. And as well, it could also save you a lot of time if it's for something very small that you can deal with and get rid of and just move on in the creative process. So why don't I show you a bit more of what I'm talking about on my screen? I'm going to throw my headphones on. It's probably good if you are checking this out on monitors, a set of good monitors, or a set of good quality headphones like I got here, my Sennheiser HD 650. So looking at my screen here, you'll see that I've marked off the area already, but why don't we just give this a listen so you know what I'm talking about. You hear like that kind of record pop that's happening. It's beautiful Fender Rhodes, sort of chord hit. I haven't used the sample yet, but I was like, this probably sound nice. But as I'm hearing that pop, it's starting to annoy me. So there's two ways you can identify this thing. One is obviously how it sounds so we've identified that little crackle, that tick, and as well visually. You can see these things visually now. So I'm just gonna hone in here. That's where it is. And I'm lucky to be at a place to have quality monitors like my Focal Alpha 80s, and I'm not trying to big up the product. I'm not being sponsored by them at all. But it's amazing when you have really good monitors, you can hear these things and be able to address it quickly. So because I heard it not only there, it caused me to say, oh, okay, it's on the right channel. And you can see it right here. It's this sharp looking notch like dip in the wave signal. And like I said, because it's not crossing 0, which is here on the right channel, right here, and it's dipped so sharply below, you can hear that tick. So how do we deal with this? Well, there's a couple of ways. I'm going to show you what I call the fade in, fade out technique, and I'm just going to keep it to ideally just to the right channel. So what I'm going to do here is just, I think I got to hold command here. Yeah, that's it. And I'm going to go a little closer to this notch thing. I'm going to fade in. Not what I want. Fade in and fade out. And you'll notice by doing that, that's essentially eliminated the sharp sort of tick signal that we saw there, right? So now let's play it back and give it a listen. Now you can hear another tick in there, but this one has smoothed out. So that's the after. So let me undo what I did and let's play the before. You can really hear it on the right side. So that's before, and let's do it again. Fade in, fade out, and this is the after. You virtually do not hear it anymore on the right side. And what's happening there is we just smoothed out that tick, you know, got it closer to 0. Let me take off my drawing functionality here on my mouse. But that's what we did. We essentially smoothed out that tick. And you could see a little rembrandt of it here. If I zoom out a little bit, you could see how it's a little bit darker there. And that's what the sharp tick or notch sort of pop was to represent the crackling on the record. I'm going to undo it and bring it back and show you another way of how to deal with these situations. And this way is quite easy. I've done it a few times, but it does require you sort of foreseeing where this is going to end up in terms of where the wave will cross paths. And whenever I do this technique, I tend to do it on both channels so they're experiencing the same event at the same time. And all it is here is I just highlighted where that pop or tick was or is, and you hit delete. And ideally what you get is a smoother wave here. This might still pop a little bit because it's above the 0, but if we listen, it's done this. You don't hear it on the right side as much anymore. So again, let's undo that. Redo, put my marker back. So you can hear it on the right side easily. And if I do the delete piece, it's smoothed out on the right side. You still hear some pops, but it's probably on the left side. It's an effect of the whole sample, just to be clear. You know, there's record pops or crackling behind the Fender Rhodes hit, but it's just part of whatever I guess the particular artist was going for in the sound. But you know, to my point, there's ways to deal with these crackles and pops if you want to remove them and remove them quickly. Just get in your audio editor and deal with it that way. You could do the same thing in Logic. Just double click right into the file, zoom in, fade out, or highlight the tick in question and then delete it and smooth it, provided it crosses 0 decibels. And there you have it. That is my specific technique for dealing with annoying crackles and pops in samples. I'm so grateful that I learned that old school technique from that particular engineer way back in the day, and I still use it to this day. It's great, it's convenient, it's quick, it's fast, and it gets the things that I want done in the manner that I want them done right away. So anyway, the conversation doesn't have to stop here. Please do not forget that I have a Patreon channel that you can check out if you want more in-depth knowledge of production. I do a weekly production stream there. We're well over 65 plus episodes, and it's literally feeling of what it's like to be in the studio with me. I show you my screen, I show you my entire process with respects to production, and I explain, more importantly, why I do the things I do. So please try that technique out. I usually join the conversation within 48 hours of posting these videos, so I'd love to hear what you got to say. And a conversation doesn't have to stop here. If you want some more of that community love, check us out on my Discord server. We're now at over 400 plus members. It's easy to get into. It's absolutely free and of no cost to you, but there is a sign-up process now because we have plus, you know, north of 400 plus members. So check us out. Much love and respect to you. Peace.